Hello everyone, my name is Professor Bhavan Gandhi and today we will be discussing Inter CA Financial Management July 2021 paper. So guys, first of all let me tell you something about the paper. The paper was quite manageable and I'm very glad to tell you this, that almost all the questions which were asked in the paper were solved in your JK Shah classes textbook. So my JKC students will be very happy, and also at the same time, once they would have checked the questions in the paper, they would have realized that almost all the questions, all the concepts were covered in our JK Shah classes textbook. So today I'll be providing you with the nexus also about which all questions were there in the examination paper and where will you find the same in your JK Shah classes textbook, and wherever there is some difference I'll be explaining those concepts to you. So to all my students who are watching this video and they'll be appearing for your subsequent examinations, I would request you that you take this particular paper as a base, really practice this particular paper and solve this particular paper, because this paper has questions which you can complete well before the time even in your examination. So it's not a very lengthy FM paper. Apart from a question on capital budgeting which has some different concept, but apart from that, the theory part, the practical questions, etc., if you practice it thoroughly and if you use this particular paper as one of the mock paper, if you want to solve it and then go for your examination, then this is a very good paper to do the same. Level of difficulty, as I told you, it's quite manageable, and those who have solved JK Shah classes textbook thoroughly, for them this particular paper would have been very easy. Okay, so first let me just show you some questions and the nexus with your JK Shah classes textbook. As you can see, the paper pattern was standard as it is. You will see your question number 1 as your compulsory question, where question number 1A is a question on receivables management, and this particular question is actually for 5 marks, and this you would find in your JKSC question number 3, page number 102. Okay, so basically in this particular question your sales was available as 360 lakhs. Okay, and also at the same time the company is planning to reduce the expenditure, and there are following 2 alternative credit policies. So basically your existing credit period in this particular question is 2 months and you want to reduce this to 1.5 months and 1 month. So guys, we have done such kind of questions on the basis of cost analysis perspective, where we will take existing policy X, policy Y, and the credit period here is decreasing, but remember that the sales is not getting affected, your sales is same. So basically, if you want, you can prepare the entire income statement by taking sales minus variable cost contribution, but that contribution will be the same for all the 3 types of policies. Or else if you want, you can just simply take the cost analysis by considering the bad debts, your collection charges and your cost of carrying debtors or your cost of investment in debtors. Take the total cost and select the policy in which your total cost is going to be minimum. Okay, you also have the required rate of return on investment as 20%. So determine which policy should be selected. So you can see existing collection charges is 8 lakhs, which can be increased to 12 lakhs or it can be 20 lakhs as well. So basically you can simply do cost analysis and select the policy in which the total cost is going to be minimum. Now debtors, you can value it at sales. You can also value the debtors on the basis of total cost. So that can also be one of the basis for the purpose of valuation of your debtors, because we have total cost per unit as rupees 120. Okay, so you will find this similar question which is there in your JK Shah classes question number 3, page 102. From what I remember on that particular question is we had valued the particular debtors at sales there, because the cost information was not available. Here we have the total cost available, so we can value the debtors on the basis of total cost, and we have the credit period also available. Now let us come to the next question, question number 1B. Now question number 1B is regarding your capital structure theories, and this in our JK Shah classes textbook. We cover it in the chapter cost of capital. Towards the last, you would have realized that this is now regarding your approach without tax. So approach without tax and with tax, both the questions we have it in our textbook, but this is regarding your without tax. We have done an advanced level of this particular question where we had calculated the arbitrage gains and whether the investment should be shifted from levered company to unlevered company or not, and vice versa. But in this particular question, the objective is to just find out what is your value of equity and what is the total value of both the companies. So value of firm and value of equity needs to be calculated. So basically here in this particular question, we just have to simply take your EBIT minus interest, which actually gives you your EBT, and because we are solving it without tax, your EBT will itself become your dividends, and we have your company R and company S. Company R looks like a levered company because there is some borrowings here. Company S is your unlevered company, and we can calculate value of equity by considering whatever is your dividends, and we will capitalize that by your K, right? That's how we can find out the value of equity. Come on, yes or no? Absolutely yes. We will simply take your dividends and we'll capitalize that by KE, and we also have your KE available as 18% and 15%. So not at all challenging. You have to just prepare your income statement. For company S, it's an unlevered company. There is no debt in the capital structure. So we will just take whatever is your dividends and capitalize that by KE. So that's how the value of equity will be found for company S as well as your company R. To calculate value of both the companies, we will just have to add the value of debt to it. So that's how the value of the firm will be calculated. But for company S, as you know, there is no debt existing in the capital structure. So your value of equity itself will become the value of the firm. So this question, you could have found this in question number 25, page 57. So there is a similar question in JKSC, and we had calculated that by using arbitrage gains. But here we just have to calculate value of equity and value of company. So that is just an extract from whatever we have done in your JK Shah classes textbook. Okay. Let's now start with your next question 1C, and in this 1C you can find that this question is regarding your risk analysis in capital budgeting, where this will become your PV of CO. 50 lakh rupees is to be invested in a particular project. So this is your present value of cash outflow, and the risk free rate is 6%, risk premium is 6%. So your total discounting factor will now become 12%, and we are going to use this 12% for the purpose of discounting from future value of cash flows to present value. But here we don't have the cash flows available, we have sales available for year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. We have the PV ratio available. So basically we can calculate contribution first, okay, and once we have calculated the contribution, after that we can subtract the fixed cost. So we will be getting your NPBDT. But guys, there is ignoring interest and taxes. So your NPBDT itself will become your cash inflows, and we can use this particular cash inflows for the purpose of discounting from future value to present value terms, and your discounting factor will now become how much? You have to calculate this using risk adjusted discounting rate, right? So we will be using discounting factor of 12% for the purpose of calculation, right? Because your risk free rate is 6% and your risk premium is 6%. So total we are going to use 12% as your discounting factor to bring it from the future value to present value terms. Similar question, we have done it in JKSC, okay, and that is your JKSC question number 1, page 126. The only difference is what? That in that particular JK Shah classes question, we had the cash flows readily available. Here we had to prepare the income statement by considering your sales less cost, and that's how your NPBDT itself will become your cash flows. We will discount that by taking future value to present value, okay. And this question is also there for 5 marks. I hope you are understanding, quite manageable. If we are talking about question number 1D, 1D was regarding your dividend decisions, and exactly the same question was there in your JK Shah classes question number 3, page 141, okay. So there is no new additional concept in this particular question. You can just refer to that JK Shah classes question and then approach this. You will find it extremely easy. Only the figures are a bit different. Okay, so this is regarding dividend decision. Walters model, we had to calculate the market price of the share, and you also have to calculate the payout ratio. Okay, similar question can also be found in your institute study module. So guys, question number 1, as you can see in this particular 20 marks, if you have done these questions from JK Shah classes textbook, then this particular question number 1 would have been extremely easy and approachable to you. Okay, and just imagine the confidence which you will get if you can solve your first question properly. Okay, and that also your compulsory question. If you are able to manage that properly, then all the other questions will be extremely, you will get that sense of confidence to solve the remaining questions as well. Now let's start with question number 2. Question number 2 is your regarding cost of capital. So in cost of capital here, as you can see, there is EPS, DPS, growth rate available, P0, your current market price, tax rate, and you require rupees 30 lakh rupees in this particular ratio 2:1. Similar question you will also find in your JK Shah classes question number 7, page number 50. Here the only difference between the question is that there is no retained earnings first of all in this particular question. In this question they have told you, assuming that there is no reserves and surplus. In the question which we had solved, there was some reserves and surplus, and that's why the balancing part of the equity proportion, we were considering that by issue of equity shares. Here the entire amount we have to take into consideration by issue of equity shares pertaining to that equity part. Okay, so whatever is your additional finance 30 lakhs, we'll divide that in the debt equity ratio, right? 2/3 and 1/3. So in your JK Shah classes textbook, we had seen that this equity also had some reserves and we were issuing fresh shares. There is no reserves and surplus in this particular question, so the entire money will be your fresh issue of equity share capital. Okay, and here the cost of debt is, guys, by the way of your slab rate system, which we have also done in your JK Shah classes. So interest calculation is using your slab rates and there is no retention, only this thing was modified in the paper. So this was also for 10 marks and you had to calculate following 4 things. What is the pattern of raising the finance? So we had to actually prepare a chart to understand what is the pattern, how we are raising this additional finance by taking debt and equity, and then what is the post-tax average cost of just the debt proportion, what is the cost of equity, which you will use it by using Gordon's model, your dividend yield growth approach, and what is the overall cost of capital. So we have to prepare one table in which sources, after tax cost, and we have to calculate your overall cost of capital. Okay? So this was pertaining to your question number 2. Okay, again your question number 2 was your JK Shah classes question number 7, page 50. Okay, now let's talk about your question number 3. Now this question number 3 was actually from your accounting ratios, where we had to calculate the operating expenses and prepare the balance sheet. So just whatever was there similar in your study module, it was also there in your JK Shah classes textbook, and the format was given to you. So we just have to calculate the things and substitute that in the format. And as I told you, this entire question is similar to your JKSC question number 6, page number 13. So you can just refer to this particular question and solve this. Only the figures are different, rest everything is same. I'm telling you that you'll really enjoy this while solving. Okay, and for those who have already completed their examination, if they are just seeing this paper analysis, okay, so they would have understood, okay, all this is from your JK Shah classes textbook. Okay, moving forward, let us now start with the next question, question number 4. Now this question was a bit lengthy. This was regarding your capital budgeting, and you will find this similar question in your textbook page number 74, question number 17. The only difference is what, that in this particular replacement decision question, we have depreciation as per WDV method, and they have given one sentence regarding your block of assets, which could have confused many students. Okay, but let me clarify, there is nothing different. if you know depreciation as per WDV basis, then this question would have been extremely easy for you. Now see, in this question, there is an existing machine which the company is operating. Remaining useful life is 4 years and there is no salvage at the end. Okay. And the current market value is rupees 3 lakhs and management is proposing to replace this with a new machine. So guys, you can just check, there is a purchase price available for the new machine 10 lakhs. As you know, in NPV calculations, we will take the present value of cash outflows by considering whatever is the new cost of the machine. From that, we will subtract whatever is going to be your current market value, that is 3 lakh rupees of the old machine. So 7 lakh rupees will be your incremental cash outflows, and that 7 lakh rupees we are going to spend it today itself. Okay. And the life of the machine, as you can see here, for existing machine, don't be confused, here it is 6 years, but already it is in operation for 2 years, so 4 years is remaining, and here also the life is going to be for 4 years. We have annual operating days, operating hours, all this is there in that particular similar question which I referred it right now. We have selling price per unit, material cost, we have output per hours, labor cost per hour, and then we have fixed overheads excluding the depreciation part. So we have to calculate the depreciation, and also there is working capital. Now this is something new. Working capital was not there in our particular question, but while considering the present value of the cash outflows, you have to make sure that this investment in incremental working capital should also be taken into consideration. So in the new machine, you are now going to spend 2 lakh rupees. In existing machine, the working capital amount is rupees 1 lakh. So additionally 1 lakh rupees of the working capital will be required as on today. Income tax rate is given to you, assuming that the cost of capital is 10% and the company uses WDV of 20% and has several machines in 20% block. Now, first of all, when we are going to calculate the particular depreciation, remember that this is not SLM. So this will be your WDV method of depreciation, and it has several machines in the particular block. Now see, this particular asset which we are selling it, now listen to this very carefully, we are selling it at the end of the 4th year. So basically your mind will now think about the capital gains or loss on the sale of the particular fixed asset. So now your mind is going to think that what is going to be the capital gains or loss on the particular sale of asset at the end of the 4th year. But guys, there are several assets which are there in the block, and also at the same time the salvage value of the old asset is 0. So basically there is no need for you to calculate the capital gain or loss here, because the block does not cease to exist. The block is going to continue to exist, and little bit of direct tax information here, that we don't have to calculate your capital gains or loss in this particular question. Block continues to exist and the salvage is 0. If the salvage would have been exceeded whatever is the value of the block, then in that particular case we would have calculated the capital gain tax, but no such kind of information is given to you in the question, and you don't have to think from that perspective. Here you just have to calculate the depreciation for the period of 4 years, and your block continues to exist because there are other machines also there in this particular block, and you just have to calculate your cash inflows and check what is going to be the incremental cash inflows which will be generated from the new machine, and then we have to discount it and bring it to the present value terms. Okay. So guys, one thing which is extremely important here for you to understand is that the company uses WDV, value of depreciation, at the rate of 20%. So just take original cost, multiply that by 20%, calculate the depreciation on WDV basis. But because there are other assets also there in this block, so there is no possibility of capital gain or loss here because the salvage is also 0. So accordingly, normally only you have to do the calculations for the same. Calculate the incremental cash inflows which is getting generated from the new machine minus old machine, discount it and bring it to the present value terms. But also at the same time you have to remember here that whatever working capital you had invested in the beginning, that working capital will also be recovered at the end. So at the end of your 4th year, you are going to recover the amount of your working capital. So incremental working capital which you had invested, you are going to recover it back. and you have the PV factors also available. So basically this is nothing but ignore your capital gain tax. Okay, so that information we are not going to use for this particular question. Block does not cease to exist. There are other assets which are there in the block, and the salvage value is 0. And also at the same time, we just have to calculate the depreciation for the period of your 4 years. Continuing further now, let us come to the next question. Again, question number 5. Okay, so question number 5 is from your leverages. Again, a very easy question for 10 marks, and this exactly the similar question, only the figures are different. You would find this in your institute's book also, and so well in your JK Shah classes textbook. Question number 4, page number 25. Okay, so here we had to calculate your earning per share, operating leverage, financial leverage, and combined leverage. So extremely easy. We just have to take the income statement first. We have to prepare the income statement by considering your total asset turnover ratio. So you will get your sales first. From that sales, you will subtract variable cost, and then you will be getting contribution, from which you will subtract fixed cost. Then from EBIT, you will subtract the amount of interest. So that's how your income statement will be completed. EBT, from that tax, impact, and all the profits belongs to equity shareholders because there is no preference share capital. Okay. So accordingly, we could have calculated here EPS, OL, FL, and CL. Earning per share extremely easy. Net profit available for equity shareholders, divide that by number of equity shares, you will get EPS. OL, FL, CL, your operating leverage will be simple contribution upon EBIT. So, you know, very easy question, and easily you can score on this particular part. And the best part is that these kind of questions does not take much time for you to solve as well. Okay, so these are like brownie points to you. Question number 6, which is theory, and I'm very glad to tell you this as well. From the theory, we had 3 questions exactly from your JK Shah classes textbook. So your question number 6A, theory, post shipment finance, you will find this as your question number 7, page 199. So I always tell my students to please go through the theory which is there behind your JK Shah classes textbook. We have, you know, compiled many theory questions here. So it's very important for you to go through that, because you can see, you know, exactly the same question is there on this particular page number. Similarly, this particular question, what are the salient features of forfeiting, this is not there in your textbook, but still, if you know what the factoring concept is, then forfeiting also becomes extremely easy for you. This is also one of the mode of finance which is actually provided to exporters, mainly so that the receivables which are there in the foreign currency, you know, those kind of receivables we can discount it and we can get the money right now. So basically in factoring, what happens is, you'll have learnt in factoring questions where, you know, there was an Indian company only who has sold some goods on credit basis to someone. Okay, and on the basis of that, we calculated the amount of the debtors and how much the factor would provide to us with an advance. Similar to that is forfeiting, but here in forfeiting, we have to remember that here the customers are outside India. Example. So generally this forfeiting is very similar to what factoring is, but such kind of modes of finance is provided to exporters who have their exposure in the debtors outside India, and we have to discount it and convert that. You know, you can get the money right now. There are many banks which will take this debtors as a security and provide you with the finance. Okay, so that is regarding your forfeiting part. And then these kind of questions you will also find out in your JKC textbook. How will you maximize the shareholders' wealth? So similar question you will find out here. And also at the same time, what are the limitations of ARR? This is there in your capital budgeting. You know, there is, it ignores time value of money, it only considers books, profits, etc. And these were asked for 2 marks. So your theory was also manageable if you would have done your JK Shah classes textbook properly. So basically, my dear students, overall, if I tell you that out of this particular 6 questions regarding the capital budgeting block concept, okay, just because of that word block, many students must have been confused, but you know, it was nothing but you just have to apply little bit of common sense, calculate depreciation on WDV basis, ignore your capital gain tax or loss and solve it, continue it further, because anyway there are other assets which are also there in the block. So apply a little bit of direct tax knowledge there and calculate it. So you would have found this particular paper extremely easy, because all the other questions, only the figures were different, but rest, just like chapter like dividend decisions or ratios or leverages, exactly the same thing. Okay. So overall the conclusion is like this, that do your JKSC very thoroughly. Okay. And because majority of the questions here in this particular case, as you can see, almost all questions we had covered in the classwork section. So do it very thoroughly, and also at the same time practice more and more, and I'm very sure in subsequent examinations, if some student is going to appear, the level of confidence will definitely boost up. And for those who have already completed this particular paper, I'm very sure you'll come out with flying colors. So as you can see, out of 60 marks, your 60 marks is from your JK Shah classes textbook. Of course, little bit concepts here and there, and out of theory also, my dear students, as we have understood that if you do your JK Shah classes textbook thoroughly, then you will find it very much manageable. So that's it from my end. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care. See you. Bye.